How's it going, everyone? I wanted to, do like my first review. Uh, just give my thoughts on video games that I've already streamed. So, kind of an idea, but if I've streamed it, I'm gonna leave a review on it. I've Googled. There's no way you can get hit with copyright with reviewing a video game. But again, to be on the safe side, I'm just going to um use images and just my own personal thoughts. Characters, gameplay, difficulty, enjoyment, all that other dumb shit. But hold on, make sure we're all right. Yeah, we're good. Anyway, so one of the games I wanted to review, and man, I'm gonna sound like a hating motherfucker on this review, but so Neo Dimension Fantasian, for me, I'm not gonna speak for anybody else who has played this game and possibly beaten, but so in the beginning, the game was actually very enjoyable. Learning the schematics of the game, uh, well, to an extent, but learning the schematics of the game, the characters. I played it on the Switch. I streamed it on the Switch, so the graphics were, and y'all know how my equipment is, but the graphics were definitely, I'm trying to keep myself from saying that this game was shit because of the difficulty. This game, regardless of whatever setting, if you chose a setting to play this on, this game was extremely difficult. And what I mean by that, it took away from, the character stories and the graphics. It was just the level of difficulty for this game. It was. I think, what was it, when you get halfway through the game, the difficulty was just, I can't tell you how many L's, and these weren't secret bosses, these were like in-game bosses, but I can't tell you how many L's I took. And I think one of the, hold on, let me scroll it down just a little bit and see more of it. But I think one of the most dissatisfying thing, I'll put it right here. Yeah, I think one of the most dissatisfying things about this game was, no matter how, they would have stages in the game where it would say recommended levels. Like, let's say, like, to beat this stage, we recommend you be at level 42. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, that shit did not matter. I remember there was a stage I did, I was 10 levels ahead, and I still got my shit marked. So you have to be strategic, technical, all that, and a little bit lucky on this game. But how about this? Like, before I get into just the difficulty of it, because yeah, it's plugged in. I'm gonna go through each character. So the main character, the main protagonist of the game, hold on, exit out, was Leo. So sword user, his main elements was fire, lightning, and then normal. I guess you could say he was the spell sword of the group to an extent. He had his uses. I like playing with any protagonist, playing with No Diddy. I like playing as any protagonist, uses a sword or a great sword. That's my niche. I've never really been a bowman, a staffman, gauntlet type of guy. I like the hack and slash. So, and turn-based. The game was turn-based. So I say in the beginning of the game, he was the powerhouse. His story is very unique. Case of amnesia, regaining memories. Onto, oh shit, I meant to save the world. Typical, typical backstory. In a lot of cases throughout the game, he went from being the powerhouse to like mid, depending on how you played him. So But he has a nice little backstory. I liked his character design. A lot of people will probably, I wouldn't recommend playing this game, y'all. That's just how fucking frustrating. And y'all see me up. That's just how frustrating this shit was. But if you were to play this game after a while, I would not main him a lot. He was not. I say he was 50-50. Either he was useful or he wasn't. So, anyway, on to the next character. Let's see who we got. We got Kina. Kina, so she's the white mage of the group. Okay, not gonna lie. When it came to healing and reviving, depending on how you leveled up her chart, she came in clutch. So, her backstory, an orphan, doesn't know her lineage or whatever. Turns out she's a princess. She really was not all that good for offensive. I would say she was extremely good for just mainly healing. I don't really know how much more I can freaking elaborate on that. She was just a white mage. I didn't really like her character too much, but I mean, she did. But you had to be careful with her too, because not really, but like most white mages, like she could get one-shotted, and that got extremely annoying, especially certain parts of the game. So, but yeah, she was the white mage of the group. So you know what? I'm gonna go back up real quick. So if I were to give him a rating as far as player use, character development, I give him like a 7 out of 10. 6.5 for Leo. For Kina, I give her maybe a 5. Depending on how you played her, I give her a 6. But yeah, she was the white mage of the group. She really wasn't. Yeah. Alright, so Cheryl. So I'm gonna go ahead and. She was the sleeper. So her powers were darkness and ice, and I think void or some shit like that. She couldn't heal. But surprisingly, when I say she was the sleeper, she was like, after a while, she actually became the powerhouse of the group. There were certain, I used her to beat the game as far as her attack stats. I say, depending on how you played her, she could do 3 times the damage the main character could. And that kind of got annoying. Her backstory, she's related to Kina. Long lost sisters. They're in charge of a kingdom. She had a crush on Leo. Leo forgot about her. And she joins them, part of a powerful lineage or whatever. She joins she was a sleeper. If I were to give her a rating as far as usefulness in the game, as far as attack stats, I would give her an 8. No, I definitely give her a 9. Because again, there were a lot of bosses I probably would not have been able to beat unless she, Now you have to build her stats up in a certain way, but especially after, I guess, Act 2 of the game, she was way more useful than Leo, and that. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, and I wouldn't say she would get one-shotted a lot, but you also had to be careful when you utilized her. So, yeah, let's go over to Zeniker. Honestly, Zeniker, okay, so his attributes was holy in earth. He was a demigod in his past life. He's part of the reason why the world was fucked up in the game, this, that, and the third. So when he reincarnated himself, he reincarnated into a ship captain. It just, the way it all correlated, it was just oh yeah, that makes sense. But I'll say this. He came in clutch as far as defense, depending on who you fought, because he could target all the enemies to attack him, and he had such a high defense. So he came in clutch a couple of times actually, and I think the only reason I say um, a lot of people wouldn't think to utilize him, especially for certain boss battles, but his defense stat could actually like make or break the game depending on what boss you fight, which was, and like I said, all of them, yeah, all of them were a pain. Like it was just, but yeah, if I were to give Zeniker a rating, I gave him a set. I would give him a 7 out of 10. He came in clutch after a while. So now, oh boy, this gonna sound so. All right, look, Ez made the game. I don't care. His ability, and what I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and give him his rating now. 10 out of 10. He came in clutch. You would think that the writer should have made him the main character. As far as heal stats, attack stats, defense, well, he was pretty shitty, but he could heal you, uh, uh, raise your attack stats and defense stats, and he was just, look, 10 out of 10. I really don't got the wordplay or to articulate how useful. Like, if you didn't have him, you probably wouldn't have beat the game. He has this one move where, and it kind of, same thing with the game itself, but where you can just use him over and over and over again. Let's say your teammates are about to, like die. He has this ability, and especially once it's maxed out, again, turn based, but it's like a doppelganger. Like you can use him in one turn like 7 to 8 different times, and that came in clutch. He really doesn't have an attribute ability, but again, he's like the alchemist of the group. He's like Riku from Final Fantasy X on steroids. Again, he could make items, and whether they were non-elemental, elemental, attack stats, or heal you, he if they didn't incorporate Ez in this game, there's no way you would have beat the game. So Ez, I give Ez a 10 out of 10 as far as usefulness in the game. Let's see. Yeah, yes, the machine of the group. So he was introduced in the beginning with Leo, and he doesn't come back around probably until like you complete 30% of the game. So for a machine, surprisingly, his was normal attacks and lightning. Kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't. He came in clutch as far as defense. He has this ability where he can set up magical barriers. He was kind of like, playing the machine, but he was like the innocent naivety of the group, if that makes sense. Like it was just, no human emotion or anything like that, but he was like a good guy. So, he, would ask like innocent questions, and then it would get you as the main character to think, but he played his role. He had his uses. So if I were to give Prickle and Clicker a rating, I'd give them a 7. I'd give them an 8. Because there were a lot of times they came in clutch too, and he has the ability to heal you too. So he definitely came in clutch. Not as good as Kina, but he came in clutch. So all right, so Valkyrie, I got mixed feelings. So her power was darkness, ice, and stat elements and debuffs for the enemy. Basic emo muscle mommy vibes, smart emo muscle mommy. That's what I would say. I really wouldn't know like how to rate her, because like she had, in my mind, she was like a second Leo. Like as far as attacks. So I would give her, but I would rate her above Leo as far as usefulness, and it's, that's not fair. That's not fair. Anyway, she's a key piece in the story. You meet her right when you get to like Act 2 of the game. So I'll just say this. Act 1, you're learning the schematics, and you'll kind of like coast through. Act 2, if you didn't retain much from Act 1 and learn how to use the characters properly, you just got minked. But even with that, you still had to... I can't tell you how many times, well, just like other games too, but there was a lot of times I used YouTube, I used Google, I used Reddit forums. I used a lot to figure out how to utilize these characters, because again, certain bosses you just were not going to beat unless you like I said, Ez came in. If you didn't use Ez for a lot of your boss battles or even normal battles, you would, yeah. So, but for her, I give her a 7 or an 8 out of 10. She definitely had her uses. So, and then finally, last, we ain't gonna go into the allies. We're just gonna go into the main characters. Tan. Tan. I didn't use Tan. He was... I wish I could say he was the Dark Mage of the group, because Dark Mage, they utilize their own HP points, you know, but he Tan really wasn't all that useful. I think they just... Well, when I played him, he wasn't all that useful. I'm pretty sure he had his uses, but I don't think... Like, I think this is one of those things where Tan could have been... You probably could have made do without the game, without Tan. I'm not going to hold you. But, hey, they incorporated him in the story, so they gave him... But, yeah, I honestly didn't see much use for Tan. He used Summon Beasts for his attack stats, but, again, most of your... Like, let's say most of the characters you would use MP magic points. Like, he would use his hit points, his HP points. And I don't think there really wasn't too many... And you have to... Well, like, most of the... game, but you have to like play through his story to even get some of his cool attacks, and even with that, I remember I had no choice but to use Tan for a boss battle, and Zeniker and Valkyrie survived. Like, Tan just kept... But anyway, I wouldn't... Yeah, Tan, I give like a 4 out of 10. Now, anybody who ever like takes the time to watch this review on this game, you know, you may think like, yo, RJ, what the fuck? That's just my review. Anyway, so now that we got a good basis of the game and the story, well, not the story, but just the characters. So what made this game awful? Like, so overall, between the characters, the stories, the boss battles, if I were to give this game a rating, so I'll do my best to be fair. As far as enjoyment, you will not... Again, once you get to Act 2, you are not fucking going to enjoy this game. You're just not. I would give, like, on a scale of 1 to 10 out of enjoyment, after Act 2, I'd give it a 2 out of 10. And honestly, the only reason I continue to play was because I bought it. I'm the type of, I bought it, I'm going to use it. But no, yeah, man, I enjoyment wise, I'd give this a 2 out of 10. After a while, it was just like the difficulty between the puzzles, the battle difficulty, and again, it didn't matter what setting you played. You just saw... I played this game on easy, and if y'all go back and watch my live streams and how I played this, y'all will probably be like, damn. You know, I say this: if you beat this game, you have bragging rights as a gamer. To me, if you beat this game. So I wouldn't recommend it as far as, you know, but if you wanted to truly challenge yourself, I would recommend like Fantasian Neo Dimension for the Switch or Xbox or PS5. Now, as far as the story and memorable moments and all that other stuff, I don't know. It difficulty wise, honestly, and I don't want to sound like an oxymoron or a hypocrite, to an extent, this game reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy VIII when it first came out on the PlayStation 1. But the thing between this game and... if you understood the junction system in Final Fantasy VIII, because again, in Final Fantasy VIII, it didn't matter how many times you leveled up. You know, you could be level 99, but if you didn't understand the junction system and you know what to place it, but after a while, the junction system is kind of like a map. You have to know how to coordinate and read a map, if that makes sense. But after that, the game became easier and enjoyable, and like it just made you want to like test certain things out with the junction system. Not with this game. It didn't matter what level you were at. It didn't matter what ability you had. It was timing. There's not too many gameplay videos on this game. That's how difficult it is. And man, let me tell you something. I got lucky when I beat the boss. Like, if you watch that, I'll try to attach nah, I ain't even gonna do, well, nah, I might. But when I beat this game, I even said I did not think I was gonna beat this boss. It was. I think, man, I can't tell you. So I got 70 some hours of gameplay on this, right? There were a couple of bosses. The reason why it took so long, and I think I started playing this game in December and I didn't beat it until about maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And it wasn't because of like timing. I had all the time, man, I had all the timing in the world. But I didn't. There was just certain bosses and I didn't want to like cheat and watch other people's gameplay. But even when I did that, like, nah. This game, y'all, yeah, as far as enjoyment, 2 out of 10. Story, I give it a 5 out of 10. Gameplay 2, story 5. Characters overall, I'd give them maybe a 7, but again, difficulty the difficulty of the whole game outweighs it. You know, I don't know too many people that's beaten this game, and if you like do Reddit research, like I remember I was reading a couple of forums about this game, and there was somebody who played it. They were like, after a while, the game itself takes the difficulty level takes the enjoyment out of the game, and I was like, you're not lying. Like there was so many between the sub quests, and there was just certain things that were optional in the story too, but again, the level of difficulty, it really made you not want to play. Like, if all games were like, this was like the turn-based version of Dark Souls or Elden Ring. Like, that's just, in my humble opinion, dude. So this thing on IGN got a rating of 9. I would call bullshit. But then again, too, there's only... Let me see something. There's only 4 ratings. Yeah, let's... Hold on. See if we can go down. Somebody gave it a 10. Okay. Somebody gave it a 9. Somebody said just give it a shot if you like old school Final Fantasy or just RPG fix. Hell, even just an RPG, I don't know. Somebody gave it a 7. I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like the people who gave this game a rating probably played it in the beginning. Because again, there was some enjoyment in the beginning, but nah, let's see what the overview got to say. I wonder if that's just the overview of the game. Because this was I wouldn't have gave it that high. Yeah, that's just a summary. Charming handgun. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, nah. I wouldn't recommend. Again, if you want a game that's challenging for difficult, I would recommend this game. And I'd even bet somebody, be like, I bet you can't beat this game for $100. No, I ain't gonna do that because then it's probably gonna make a lot of gamers want to play it and be like, nah, I beat it. Where's my money? But nah, let me stop. But yeah, nah, Fantasian Neo Dimension. Overall, I give it a 2 out of 10. This game was frustrating. It was. Yeah, but anyway, y'all be good. I'm gonna go ahead and work on my edits. I'm gonna review an anime because there was certain animes that I watched while I streamed. So I'm gonna review an anime later on, and then just and again, any game that I've played or beaten, or how about this that I've streamed, I'm gonna do a video on. Anyway, y'all be good. Thanks for joining. Peace.